the competition in the dust.
Underground across America, and all over the world there lay many underground bases. Among the most infamous include Area 51, and Dulce Base. What most people want to know is what goes on underground at these bases. Many witnesses have come forward with testimonies of what goes on in these underground cities. Thomas Costello was a former Dulce security officer, who came forward about what he witnessed. A quick Google or YouTube search of his name or the phrase, Dulce security officer speaks out, will lead you to some questions and answers between him and an interviewer. Costello had gone on the run, when he had learned his wife and children had been kidnapped. Costello has since vanished. Nobody is even sure if he is still alive today. Phil Schneider is another man who came forward about his experience while working at Dulce. He spoke of an encounter with a Zeta Gray, which had attacked him and left him critically injured, and missing some fingers. Phil was doing his part in exposing the underground bases, and survived several assassination attempts, which he lived to talk about. He also stated that if he ever commits suicide, we would all know he was murdered. This man was later found dead with a rubber cord, which was wrapped around his neck 3 times in a knot, and officials ruled it a suicide. There was no way Phil would have been able to kill himself in the manner he allegedly did. He could not have tied a cord around his neck in a knot. Not only was he not suicidal, but his alleged suicide was done in a manner which would have been extremely difficult for him to carry out on his own given his physical injuries. He had limited mobility in one shoulder and missing fingers. It would not have made sense for Phil to take his own life while he was trying to expose a terrible government secret, especially after he told us that if he ever committed suicide, it is only because they killed him. Others have come forward with their own testimonies of these underground bases, and we now have a pretty good picture of what it is like underground and the purpose of the experiments that take place at these bases. These underground bases are described as large cities, similar to Manhattan. They are all over the United States, and across the world. These cities are all connected by subterranean highways, one that depends on electric motors for the paved roads, and is for limited travel, and the other is a style of transit for freight and for passengers, that is for rapid travel. This worldwide network is called the sub-global system, and has checkpoints at each country system. The shuttle tubes that shoot the trains, at speeds that excel the speed of sound, use magnetic levitation and a vacuum method of travel. Many atrocities take place in these underground cities, which include genetic experiments, advanced mind control, wiretapping, dream manipulation, human aurora studies, and human cloning. The technologies developed are used on the general population, to control them and use them as guinea pigs for further research, also to follow the agenda of the New World Order. Technologies developed for spying are used on everybody on Earth, especially those who are aware and against their plans for world domination, people who are now being labeled as sleepers, or potential terrorists. Today, if you are a truth seeker, or conspiracy theorist, you are considered, by the FBI in a program named Communities Against Terrorism, to be sleepers, or potential terrorists waiting to snap. Anyone who harbors conspiracy theories are to be considered suspicious by local police officers, according to a memo from the Department of Justice. If you are against the New World Order, consider yourself under surveillance. Advanced mind control is being used on everybody through news networks, television shows, movies, ads, schools, and organized religion. Mind control is especially used on conspiracy theorists, to create false flag attacks. But before we get into that, let's discuss human cloning, as it falls into the subject of mind control on unsuspecting truth seeker through MKUltra in order to commit false flag attacks. The elite, like the Greys, kidnap women and impregnate them with the exact same genetic structure of the person they wish to clone. These clones are a disposable slave race forced to follow orders of their overseers. At DOS base there are 7 levels that go underground. In order, there are levels for security and communications, human staff housing, laboratories, mind control experiments, alien housing, genetic experiments, and cryogenic storage. Footage has been smuggled Arab dolls, footage of cryogenic tanks, and cloning centers. The cryogenic storage level is used to hold unused organic clones. The CIA has now gained the ability through technology to transfer the consciousness from one body to another. One thing to keep in mind is that our consciousness is the same thing as a spirit or soul. It is pure energy. Our bodies are organic machines, completely made up of organic materials, a biodegradable robot to house our consciousness. These clones are implanted with a microchip in the brain, possibly where the pineal gland resides, and enables a telepathic communication channel. They can detect and decode your brain waves, see and hear your thoughts. They are all under the watchful eye of one another. They live in a culture that is based on fear of each other. If one does not follow the rules, others will report him for fear of their own lives and the lives of their loved ones. These clones can be anyone. Most people you see on television is a clone. Actors, news anchors, politicians are all slaves that do nothing but follow a script, and could be replaced by another at any moment. Their purpose is to live the lives of the human being they replaced and spy on civilians, especially on truth seekers, possibly kill them, if given the order. They have the ability to hear your thoughts, see your thoughts, and even implant auditory or visual thoughts in the brain of the receiver. They can make you see and hear things that are not there. I believe this is where the shape-shifting phenomenon comes from. There is some truth to it. The brain is considered to be an advanced computer, the central processing unit of this organic machinery, and like a computer it has the ability to send and receive input. It is possible, as David Icke suggests, that in order to take the appearance of a reptilian being you must have enough Anunnaki DNA. The DNA may behave as stored data that is used to create the appearance of the Anunnaki. As a disinformation and double agent, it is important to be skeptical of what David Icke suggests. Someone may not need as much Anunnaki DNA in order to create the appearance of a reptilian being, possibly none at all. These clones, the slave race for intelligence agencies, play a key role in all of America's false flags. With the help of these clones, the person that commits a shooting or bombing is driven to commit these acts of terrorism through mind control MKUltra techniques. These individuals are driven mad with subliminal messages, hypnosis, drugs, death threats, dream manipulation, and harassment. All false flag attacks are carried out by truth seekers. They are conspiracy theorists, who are victimized because of their beliefs. Sometimes the accused does not even commit the shooting, but is killed before the incident and used as the face of the attacks. Humans surrounding him are put in danger. They are the people who will be murdered, cloned, and replaced by the CIA. They are given a drug to ingest by another person, who is already a clone, that causes uncontrollable and agonizing diarrhea and vomiting until the person dies. The person is then removed and replaced with a clone, placed there to aid the CIA into driving the truth seekers mad. Anyone in the area surrounding the target is doomed to share this fate. When there is a false flag, most people, if not all, are clones who have been placed there. The one who commits the attack is the only person who is not a clone of the CIA. This includes all men, women, and children. All the crisis actors that conspiracy theorists expose are in fact clones. Here are a few examples of conspiracy theorists and their so-called involvement with false flags. Adam Lanza was a 20-year-old who allegedly began a shooting spree at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, killing 20 children and 6 staff, just after having killed his mother. Adam was not ignorant of the world around him. He and his mother were aware of the corruption and incompetence of our government. They were also aware of the Ponzi scheme, that is the US dollar, and its rapid decline. The media portrayed Nancy Lanza, his mother, as a paranoid survivalist, who believed the world was on the verge of violent economic collapse. The media also claimed she was reported to have been struggling to hold herself together and had been stockpiling food, water, and guns. The Lanzas were obviously informed truth seekers, or what most people call us, conspiracy theorists. Adam Lanza had been prescribed a drug called Funapt, which has side effects that include violence, paranoia, and delusions. I'm sure these drugs played a key role in his experience with MKUltra. Tamerlan Tsarnaev was the suspected Boston Marathon bomber. Tamerlan attended a mosque, where he met a man named Donald Larking. Donald said he and Tamerlan shared thoughts on conspiracy theories and politics. They also spoke of America and its involvement in the Middle East. Tamerlan was another informed truth seeker. Tamerlan felt he was the victim of majestic mind control, which could program him to create an alternative personality brought out by a single phrase or gesture. He believed voices were being implanted in his brain. He also told his mother it had felt like two people were inside of him. Jared Launer was the suspect in the Tucson shooting of Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Gifford. Jared was an informed truth seeker, or conspiracy theorist. He was aware of our government's involvement in the bombing of the Twin Towers on September 11th. He was also aware of how the Federal Reserve starts conflicts to begin wars, and its involvement in their agenda to bring in a new world order. Jared was a fan of Alex Jones, a conspiracy theorist radio host, who is actually a CIA disinformation and double agent working for the elite. Aaron Alexis was the man who committed the D.C. Naval Yard shooting, killing 12 people. Aaron witnessed the attacks on September 11th. He may have even looked into the true story behind the attacks. One thing we know for sure is he was not fond of our government or of living in America. He must have been aware of the corruption in this nation. Friends of Aaron say he was tired of dealing with the government, and wanted to leave America. This man believed he was being mind-controlled. On his gun he had written, "My ELF weapon," referring to extremely low-frequency waves. He also wrote, "Better off this way," and "End the torment," on a shotgun. These clones are extremely dangerous, but they are not the enemy. They are slaves who are just following orders. These people want change and to be freed as much as any of us. If they choose not to follow an order, they, along with their loved ones, will be killed off, and be easily replaced by another. These clones make up the majority of our federal, state, and local politicians, military leaders, and local police forces. If you are watching this video, it is extremely likely someone you know is, or has been replaced by a clone. They are one of the elite's greatest tool, but are against who they work for. Many of the people we look to for the truth and reliable information are also disinformation and double agents working for the elite, such as Rand Paul, Alex Jones, David Icke, and many others we look to for the truth and reliable information, are clones as well.
We'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone, so give us something quick.
Okay, okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are, they're extra-dimensional beings.
This race comes from the constellation Sextans. They crashed one of their ships, near the town of Varginha in Brazil, in 1996. Two of
But the world is changing with accelerating speed.
To lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century.
Let's take you to Lebanon, Missouri, where the high school principal, a fellow by the name of Kevin Lowry, that is to say, there he is right there. The PC police make it impossible to use the name God in a public setting, and yet he did just that.
And just in case you're interested, during my moment of silence, I gave thanks to God for these great students.
I love the fact that he said in a secular society it would be inappropriate to mention God, and then he did, and he reflected on how God is a part of the fabric of Americana.
I'm here tonight to give a non-sectarian, secular invocation that will reflect the fact that we are now a diverse community of members of many faiths and of none, as our president reminds us.
Our new Secretary of Education in Florida recently appointed AIR to receive the $220 million contract for end-of-course exam testing. Please go on their website. Click the link to what they're doing with youth, and you will see what their agenda really is. They are promoting as hard as they can any youth that is interested in the LGBT agenda, and even name it 2-S, which they define as having two spirits. The Bible says a lot about being double-minded. These people that will now receive $220 million from the state of Florida, unless this is stopped, will promote double-mindedness in state education and attract every one of your children to become as homosexual as they possibly can.
The principal of D.C.'s largest public high school, Wilson High School, made what might have been one of the biggest announcements of his life, saying that he is gay while at the school's annual LGBT Pride event on Wednesday.
Today, he came out with cheers from his students, Mayor Gray on one side, Councilmember Catania on the other.
I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago. And, just something kept saying, I'm tired of hiding.
Cahill chose the second annual LGBT Pride event at Wilson High to make his announcement. For him, it seemed like the perfect time and place.
If I was going to stand in front of these kids today saying we're celebrating our pride and you can be who you are, and I would be a hypocrite if I continue to hide.
A planned protest is expected to take place here at Wilson High. Mayor Vincent Gray had a clear message for them.
In my best biblical reference, they can go straight to hell.
Cahill says times have changed since he was young, and school pride celebrations like the one today would have been very unlikely.
I'm disappointed, and I hate to go out this way.
Leon McCoy has been speaking at Winfield High School's graduation as far back as he can remember, but he won't be this year because the Board of Education says the school has gotten complaints that McCoy's speeches contain too many religious references and violate the Supreme Court's ruling banning prayer in public schools.
He gives to these kids, year in and year out, and to see him not be able to speak, on their behalf this year has just shocked me.
After hearing the news, some graduating seniors say they felt cheated.
He spoke at all three of my siblings' graduation, and so I've always wanted him to speak at mine.
Hunter Sheldon and his friends started a petition to try and get the coach back on the agenda for graduation. They say students aren't always inspired by his speeches.
The graduations I've been to, the whole crowd's cheering, and the religion issue's never really been a problem. It's continued even after it was made illegal.
Hello, everybody. An outraged mother is taking on a high school drama teacher who allowed a student award ceremony to turn vulgar.
Couple Force Mark Miller explains why that parent was so offended and what the school district is doing about it.
She certainly knows how to draw the spotlight.
I wouldn't want a teacher like that in my school.
Drama club advisor Terry Grimes is in trouble. The parent says Grimes and some of her students on stage used the F word and other profanities and performed a skit about a priest wanting to have sex with kids. Then there were the awards for horniest stud and horniest girl, with the winner presented with what appeared to be a box of sex toys.
The goal of Common Core is to put students on a level playing field and help prepare them for a global economy.
The federally controlled program Common Core seeks to put all students, preschool through high school and beyond, under a standardized regime. The goal being to increase math and English skills for the almost 100 million students nationwide. Parents from coast to coast, however, have been shocked and have filed complaints at ridiculously complex methods being taught to solve basic mathematical problems or the use of dumbed-down texts to teach reading. But parents' complaints have been largely ignored. In fact, at least 2 parents were jailed for complaining about Common Core, causing many to draw comparisons to a fascist dictatorship's control over the nation's educational system.
Okay.
Let him ask his question.
This is what I will say, in fairness to everyone who asked questions, we do have some that are dovetailing to that.
Let him ask his question.
So the next question. So this is a dovetail.
Don't stand for this. You're sitting here like cattle. You have questions. You confront them. They don't want to do it in public.
Okay, the next.
Excuse me, buddy. Hey, this is America. This is not a CNN political debate. You're managing and don't report. Hey, that's right. Parents, you need to question these people. Do the research. It's online. Top 10.
Okay, so the next question. The next question is the Common Core state standards for implementation by Maryland and attempts to filter students
They're
so
told
that
they're here to go to
community
schools. And now they're concerned.
But surely, this is not a fascist takeover of our educational system, is it? If that were the case, America would have to be living under a de facto fascist dictatorship. Unfortunately, that is exactly what we are living under. Obama has altogether dispensed with the rule of law, proclaiming often that if Congress won't act, I will. The most detailed analysis to date of Common Core, a Pioneer Institute report. Common Core, per the report, seeks to, quote, produce workers for the global economy. And now Michelle Obama has openly called for children to spy on their parents as well. This is exactly what the Hitler Youth were engaged in under the Nazi regime. Still thinking we're not living under a de facto fascist dictatorship? Think again.
We're gonna change it and rearrange it. We're gonna change the world. Now's the moment where he wants to sing. Sing with all your heart.
Well, when you think about great leaders in the world, world history, whose words still influence today, there are many names that come to mind. You got your Abe Lincoln, you got your JFK, you got your MLK Jr.
Yeah.
What about Adolf Hitler?
No.
No.
Take a look at this. It's a Bible school in Alabama, and they put up a billboard with a quote from the Nazi leader. It says, "He alone who owns the youth gains the future." The billboard was promoting education for children, featured kids of diverse backgrounds.
Well, sure.
The school now admits probably a bad decision to quote Hitler and says, no surprise, they're going to take that sucker down.
Oh, they're going to take it down. How many people did it have to go through?
That's the thing. It's so heartbreaking that it's laughable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about it.
An officer responsible for the safety of students at Oakland High School instead caught punching a student who has cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair.
The fact that it happened to a student who has cerebral palsy only compounds the damage and how awful this incident is.
The incident unfolded on a school video camera early last week. Officers were urging lingering students to go to class. School officials say the student refused or wasn't moving fast enough when Marchell Mitchell started pushing the wheelchair.
Martinez says he had protested when the security guard tried to clear the hall and wheel him to class. He says the guard handcuffed him, and he admits spitting on the guard in protest just before the beating on the tape.
I was handcuffed. I ain't had no way to defend myself but my mouth.
But Martinez says what was not caught on the tape was the guard beating him and throwing him to the ground on the elevator ride just minutes before.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
As we first reported last night, the Baltimore City Council has given its approval to what will be one of the strictest curfew laws in the country. Tonight we go in focus for a look at just how this new law is going to be put into action.
Well, supporters say it'll keep kids safe. And like the current curfew, children found after hours by police will not be arrested, just taken to a new connections center.
The vote was 13-2 in favor of the new curfew law. Carl Stokes was one of those 2 no votes.
I think this is definitely a bill that identifies kids in certain neighborhoods.
He doesn't buy the argument from supporters that the curfew is aimed at helping children, saying he believes after-hours interactions with police will be something like this.
I'm not going to stop and tell your mom. I'm not going to stop and tell your dad. I'm going to take you right over to this juvenile detention center, juvenile curfew center, whatever you want to call it.
They want to call it a youth connection center. Eventually, the mayor would like to have one youth connection center in each of the 9 police districts to keep children who are brought in closer to home. The center will be staffed by city employees who can assess young people and determine how to connect them with whatever support they might need to keep them from having to be brought back.
We begin with breaking news in Orange County. Dana Hills High School is on lockdown this afternoon. A carrying case for a shotgun or rifle was found on the campus.
Just within the last couple of minutes or so, the all clear was given here at Dana Hills High School. You can see that the kids are now being let out in droves. What began as a scary afternoon has ended safely. No weapons were found.
My son is texting me from inside. What's he saying? He's saying that he's fine and they're barricaded in a room.
3,000 students and staff at Dana Hills High School were locked down, told to shelter in place for hours this afternoon after an empty carrying case for a rifle was discovered in a campus parking lot.
Especially what happened in Santa Barbara. The kids should just go to school and be safe.
All call and emails were sent by the administration notifying families of the disturbing discovery. Dozens of officers and the Orange County Sheriff's SWAT team with its armored vehicle rolled onto campus and began an all-out search. Classrooms, lockers, cars, and the school grounds for a weapon. Authorities say there were no threats received.
You'll see the SWAT team is out here. The critical incident response team is also here, not because any weapon was seen or a threat was made, but simply because we need the additional manpower to search a campus of this size.
But it is scary to them to see guard dogs and SWAT team members going up and down their school, and just in light of recent incidences, not knowing what could happen is very scary to them.
A couple of photographs. These are cell phone photos that were taken by one student who was sheltering in place for about 3 hours this afternoon. In the case of some kids, they say that their teachers turned off all the lights and they hid under the desks. But again, all kids are safe. No weapons found on campus. There were no threats made to this campus, Dana Hills High School. Only the discovery of this carrying case for the rifle. It is unclear who that carrying case belongs to and who may have left it there.
I can feel I'm getting older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. She raised me like a soldier. Whatever you want, it is on ya. can feel I'm getting older. I'm getting older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. Feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. Raised me like a soldier. You want it, it's on ya. I am a god up in my own. Please don't come around me talking, man. I'm really not that social. Only vocals for the track. See, I've been focusing on stacks. See, I put niggas on my track, but then got tired of playing with toys. It's NCR for life while I bitch rappers in my boys. What you mean, nigga? Who I be? Only K.I. bitch on the G. Had my name up in these streets before I ever touched the beat. Was known for icing niggas up so quick and fast with my hand. They hit me with a wing dinner for trying to kill me a man. Self-defense like I was wrong. I was trying to make it home. Never mad at you though, because it really made me strong. I recrawl the blocks we bleeded with that burn of me impeded. I'm a guard, nigga on guard. Change my name to Yahweh Houdini. Older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. Feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. She raised me like a soldier. Whatever you want, it is on ya. I am the god over my own mind. Older. I'm getting older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. Feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. She raised me like a soldier. Whatever you want, it is on ya. I am a god up in my own mind.
Hard in my own mind, timeless in my own time. Mama raised a soldier, let you know I die for mine. Higher than the sky, chasing evil dollar signs. So many people in the skies out here living life. Believe it or not, I be chilling one thing. Every day we get older, we come from these streets. I don't know you, don't owe you, so please let me be. Cause bitch, I'm a beast. I'm trying to see us all eat. Try to feed these niggas steak, but they won't dog me. You an earthling and I'm a Martian. Walking in the dark end. Standing while they crawling. We swimming in water with sharks, fam. No stress and no blessing, the life that we living. My niggas just trying to stay out of the prison. This life's a gift.
I'm getting older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. Feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. She raised me like a soldier. Whatever you want, it is on ya. I can feel I'm getting older. I'm getting older. These niggas feeling like I owe ya. Feeling like I owe ya. My mama raised me like a soldier. She raised me like a soldier. Whatever you want, it is on ya. I am a god up in my own.
Leaving all the competition in the dust.